So I'm just going to start that, and then I'll go ahead and we'll get started here today. All right, can everyone see the presentation slides? Perfect.
I can.
Thank you. All right, so quick agenda today. We're going to quickly review Rochester's energy goals, a big driver behind the creation of this benchmarking program, a little introduction to benchmarking and what it is, some highlights from our program last year. We have a participant with us today, a current program participant, to share a little testimonial, and then both of our utility partners, Rochester Public Utilities and Minnesota Energy Resources, we'll be sharing some incentive opportunities and resources available to benchmarking participants. And then we'll finish up with some closing remarks from Mayor Norton. And then we'll have some time for questions and discussion. Feel free to drop questions or comments in the chat as we go through as well. So just to start off here, Rochester's energy goals. A brief overview of sustainability. Really, the city and DMC have been working to define sustainability in kind of that three-tiered approach. So not only focusing on the environmental aspects of it, but the economic and social equity components as well. So a good example of this specifically related to benchmarking is multifamily buildings, for instance. Implementing energy efficiency projects isn't just good for the environment by lowering the building's energy use. Economically, it lowers the overall operating cost of the building, freeing up funds for other areas, and in return, it can help tenants with lower utility bills, providing more equitable living situations. Rochester's energy goals that we adopted in 2017 were a 1.5% annual retail energy savings. So far, we have been meeting that goal every year. 25% renewable energy by 2025. We'll now have 100% by 2030, thanks to RPU's new renewable energy plan. And then our third kind of set of goals is reducing our GHG emission reduction, so our greenhouse gas emissions, compared to our 2005 baseline. So our next target to hit there is 30% by 25. And as you can see from this graph on the screen, a majority of our emissions per capita comes from energy, and a lot of that is from larger commercial buildings in our city. So a quick introduction to benchmarking. Basically what benchmarking does is take the meter consumption of your building, so electricity, gas, water, and steam, and combines that with the building characteristics, so area, type, the year it was built, and what the building is used for. That gives you your energy use intensity, which is one of the, basically that expresses a building's energy use as a function of its size or those other characteristics. Generally, a low EUI signifies that good energy performance, but it does depend on the property type, as some will use more energy than others. And then that gives you an overall energy score based on your building's use. These are just some really simple examples of benchmarking that we see every day. The kind of saying goes is you can't manage what you don't measure. So nutrition fact labels, for example, our fuel economy estimates, and then an energy guide here are just really ways that we manage things in our day-to-day life and continue to track them. How to benchmark? So really, like I said, it composes of those building characteristics and your meter consumption, and putting that together into an Energy Star portfolio manager. Usually our deadline for each year is to submit this by June 1st. And then you can review your results and make ongoing improvements to building performance. So buildings that just benchmark alone save on average 1 to 3% of their energy use, just by being aware of how their building is performing throughout the year and year over year. Keeping an eye on that so that you can identify any problems that might arise and then look for opportunities for energy saving projects. The benefits of benchmarking, they help not only track that energy and water consumption over time using this free tool, but you can compare your building performance to that of your peers. So you know if there's a similar building in size and characteristic, if you have much higher energy use, that gives you a little bit of insight to start looking into why that might be the case versus other buildings of the same size. There are incentive offerings available from our utility partners, which we'll talk about in a little bit here. You can identify opportunities to increase efficiency and ultimately save money on your utility bills, and then gain recognition from the city for your energy saving efforts. We're really proud of this program and the fact that we've been able to increase participants each year. The more people that we can have saving energy, like I said, is not only good for your pocketbook, but good to help the city achieve its goals. And we love to highlight those that are participating in the saving efforts that they've achieved. This is just a really quick case study of a building here in Rochester, the Minnesota Bio Business Center. So back in April of 2018, they did some lighting and controls improvements. So cooling and heating savings, as well as the lighting, they received the incentive dollars for. So because of those improvements, they received an energy reduction. It was nearly $2,000 in energy savings that month. And then the incentive checks they received from the lighting and heating and cooling was around $13,000. So you can really see there in action the benefits to just managing this and implementing some of those energy saving projects. So who can participate in benchmarking? Owners of large commercial and multifamily buildings, such as businesses, offices, nonprofits, apartments, mixed-use buildings, public facilities, really anything. Our goal is to continue to build this program out. So there really is no limit to who can participate, building owners, property managers, all of the above. We're happy to speak to people about their interest and what it might look like to participate in this program. A few resources that we'd like to share, and we will send a follow-up email with these materials to our participants afterwards. But if you are interested in benchmarking, we do offer sessions to offer free technical assistance. So we will help you set up that profile in Energy Star Portfolio Manager and show you how to input your utility data so that you can continue to do that year after year. We have plenty of resources on our benchmarking website, as well as trainings that Energy Star offers. And you can always reach out to me with any questions or concerns as well. A few highlights from our 2020 program. So last year we had 112 benchmarked properties. This was up from 90 that we started with the year before. So in total, those properties are using 1.7 million, and that is equal to about the same energy use as 13,026 households, or 12% of our citywide building energy use. And that equates to 7% of our citywide GHG emissions. The buildings had the following performance. So you can see in Rochester, our median energy score is a little bit higher than the national average, which is great to see. And our median weather normalized site, so our EUI, is around 77. In 2020, the number of buildings benchmarked increased by 24%. So despite COVID, we were excited that we were still able to increase participation in the program, which really came from offering that technical assistance. So we know it can be time consuming to set up that profile and implement the utility data. So we're happy to walk you through it and show you how it's done. Once the profile is set up year to year, it's just entering that utility data each year to continue to track and monitor it. These are a few of the new program entrants that we welcomed last year. So 5 West Bar and Restaurant, our first hotel, Home to Suites by Hilton, St. Mary's University, Minnesota's Cascade Meadows location, Channel One Food Bake, and Buena Vista condominiums. So as you can see, it's restaurants, it's nonprofits, it's educational buildings, it's multifamily units, it's hotels. Really anyone can participate in this program. I'll stop there quickly before we move on if there's any questions on that first half of our presentation regarding benchmarking.
I have a quick question. I manage the Wells Fargo Center in downtown Rochester. We do use, or we have Energy Star Portfolio Manager. We use Gobi as our kind of energy consultant. I know that there's a way to share that profile with you. Is there a, I guess, what is your a profile, or how do we share that information? Are you guys set up with like under like Rochester DMC, or I think because in Energy Star Manager, I think there is like a whatever this would be under, like whatever, I want to say like user or whatever, to share that with you. You know that off the top of your head?
I know we are
maybe
able,
not didn't explain that correctly, but
I know it's something I think we're capable of doing, because for instance, our hotel last year used a different program as well. So it was just downloading that data and implementing it, inputting it into Energy Star. So I think probably just setting up, I think we have or will have a technical assistant set up with you all, a meeting to kind of go over that. So we can figure out what that would look like. But I do think it's possible.
Okay, sorry, thanks.
All right, I will hand it over to Amanda then from Mayo Clinic to share a little participant testimonial.
Great, thanks, Lauren. So Mayo Clinic, actually I should introduce myself, Amanda Holloway. I'm the Sustainability Director for Mayo Clinic. And our energy journey started probably about the year 2010. But as you can imagine, with such a large campus in Rochester, we have 21 million square feet of space. That includes our parking ramps, but that's 16 million square feet of building space. And healthcare, the delivery of healthcare is energy intensive. And so, one of our goals has always been to reduce our energy usage so that we can, get those environmental benefits, but then also the cost saving benefits with that. And benchmarking has been really a key way that we've been able to monitor and measure and track our energy usage and our progress. Back in 2011, we set a goal for the Rochester campus to reduce our energy use intensity by 20% by 2020. And at the time, we thought that was it was a big stretch goal, and did a lot of work to help meet that goal. But benchmarking, again, there was no way that we would have been able to meet that goal without having a real understanding of the energy usage of our facilities. Glad to say that we've met that goal in 2017 and have since set another stretch goal. So now we're going for another 10%. Our goal is to reduce that energy use intensity by 30% by 2025. So trying to accelerate our energy conservation work. But because our campus is so large, that does mean really huge cost savings for the organization as well. Since 2010, we've saved over $48 million in avoided energy expenses. And as you can imagine, that's of interest to our leadership as well as to our employees. It really helps us deliver responsible healthcare when we can reduce our operating expenses. I'd say another reason that benchmarking has been really important to us or helps us is as our campus expands and we build new buildings, we're now setting energy use intensity targets for those new facilities to make sure that we're including energy conservation initiatives and efforts, building that right into the new building. And so by tracking and measuring the energy use of those buildings, it helps make sure that we're meeting those targets. And it helps us hold our contractors and construction industry partners accountable too for helping us meet those EUI targets. I'll also say another benefit of benchmarking is, helping track that progress and get some recognition for the good work that the facilities teams are doing. For instance, this past year, the American Society of Healthcare Engineers, their Energy to Care program recognized a handful of Mayo Clinic buildings for significant energy reduction efforts. And so that, gives us some national recognition and again, recognition with our Mayo Clinic leaders that really reinforces, the good work that those facilities teams are doing. So we're kind of working on LED lighting retrofits, building system upgrades, And whenever we do these projects, it really helps us measure the effectiveness of those projects and go back to our teams to show that the investment that we've made in energy conservation is really paying off for the organization and for the local environment and community.
Thank you, Amanda. We'll just pause quickly there if there's any questions for Amanda and what Mayo has done so far as a part of the benchmarking program. All right, thank you for sharing. Appreciate that. We'll move forward here. Our next up is our utility partners. And we have a quick video actually to start with that. So I will pull that up here. And let me know, I think I set up the sound right, if you all can hear this, okay.
As Rochester Public Utilities and Minnesota Energy Resources look to 2021 and beyond, our goal is to continue to approach energy efficiency as a collaborative effort between us and our valued customers. That means working with you and, more importantly, listening to you to save energy, save money, and help protect the environment. Thank you to so many of you who have chosen to be a part of moving forward with us. Due to mutual efforts, we've seen significant savings. By participating in programs we offer, there was enough water conserved to fill 12 Olympic-sized swimming pools. There was enough natural gas saved to fuel the equivalent of 826 passenger cars driven for 1 year. And there was enough electricity saved to power 1,691 homes for 1 year. What a testament to all our work together. In the upcoming year, let's continue to focus on our partnerships and the potentials that come with those partnerships. To promote efficiency, RPU and Minnesota Energy Resources continue to provide incentives and innovative ways for all our customers to save. Our goal is to help you, our trade allies and customers, participate in our numerous energy efficiency programs that can help you make wise energy and resource choices. The road to saving resources and putting money back into your pockets begins with contacting your utility representative. They'll provide you with information on the programs that we offer and help facilitate which programs are best for your projects. There's no cost to you, and the savings and possible rebates can really add up. RPU and Minnesota Energy Resources don't just want to be your energy providers, we want to be your energy partners. When we all work together and collaborate to reach common goals, we make a difference in our community today and for generations to come. Thanks to you, 2020 was an outstanding year for energy efficiency, and with your help, we can make 2021 even better. Join us in reaching our goals today.
All right, and with that, I will hand it over to RPU here.
Thank you, Lauren. So I don't think the video came through. It didn't come through my end as perfect, right? So after my presentation, I'll make sure I throw in the link to the YouTube if you're interested in seeing it. So just to introduce myself, I am Drew Larson. I am an energy and environmental advisor with RPU. And just to give everybody a little tidbit of RPU, for those that are not familiar, we are a nonprofit. We are self-funded, a city department serving both electric and water. We also provide billing services for water rec and stormwater. We are governed by a board that is made up of a voluntary community members and one city council liaison. And our decisions are made locally here, and that's important, right? We want to make sure that all our decisions are made right here. With that, our revenue stays local too. So we pay the city in lieu of taxes and on our property. And so all that money stays to help our community. So, and we have committed to providing clean energy going forward. So included in our infrastructure plan, we are going to be providing 100% renewable energy by 2030. And with that, we want to introduce my team. So we happen to think it's a pretty good one. So Josh Mason, myself, Jan Blevins, and Anna Bashmamovich, we are all part of the commercial team. So we serve all of our commercial customers. Josh and I serve our large commercial customers. Anna serves some of our medium and smaller commercial customers, and Jan helps them all. And then, of course, we have Stephanie Humphrey, who is our residential. The first thing we want to let you know is we are here to help, right? We're your first resource. We can help you guide you to a more efficient building. And we don't always have the answers, but we do know where to look. We've been there before, right? We also have a bunch of rebate incentives to offer. It really helps buy down those costs of those initial big costs. And we do now have an easy to use portal, so you can download your data for easy tracking and show you an example of that in a bit. And we can also look at your load profile. So if your meter is capable, we can download your meter and look at how you use energy over the course of a day. This is just kind of a overview of our commercial rebate program. So the common ones that you usually see: lighting, cooling equipment. But we do a lot of rebating on cleaning of that cooling equipment. You know, you get a lot of dust and dirt in there, and every so often you need to clean the tubes and the chillers. We offer rebates on that. And also we offer rebates if there's a kWh to be saved, and we can document it, we can offer you a rebate. And here's a list of our residential programs. And I put this on here because every commercial customer can use our residential programs as well. So these can be for your standard appliances: clothes washers, dishwashers, refrigerators. It also can include the smaller HVAC items, you know, so your smaller heat pumps, your smaller central air conditioners, things like that. But we also rebate on the recycling of them too. We want to make sure they're properly disposed of, so we do rebate with proof of properly disposing them as well. So, and then we rebate on water programs. So our water programs are a pretty extensive list. So of course, we're going to rebate on the electricity of saving on a clothes washer, but we also rebate on the water savings as well. We will rebate on toilets for the high efficiency and the flusher meters, and irrigation too. So look for that water sense label when you're purchasing. So on this website, it's just an example of our website up at the header. This is where you can find all of our rebates. You can call us at any time too, but if you want to do it at your own disposal, you can check out there at the heading, rebates and programs, bring up commercial and residential rebates for your use. And this is an example of our new user portal to kind of show you what you can look at when you're looking at energy use. You can look at your past energy use, kWh, water usage. If you are a demand customer, you can see demand on there as well. You can also download it. So at the bottom left of that, you can see a little circle of exporting to Excel. So this is pretty beneficial, so you don't have to type it in a few times. You can just copy and paste. And this is an example of some interval data that I was talking about earlier, the load profile data from August of 2019. So we can do this with a lot of meters across our system, but we can really dial into what is using energy in your facility. So on this particular one, it has a very high base load, that empty space, it's always using energy. If I were to look at this first time, I'd say, all right, let's find out what's running when your business isn't operating at night. Also, you can identify a lot of the peaks. You can see that one peak really shot up there opposed to all the other peaks. This can be a really big identifier in how you can, what types of equipment might save you the most amount of money and the most energy in the long run. And so just to kind of close it out, I do want to emphasize that we are your resource. If we don't know the answer, in which we don't know it a lot of the time, we can at least guide you to someone who can. and make sure you take advantage of those rebates, right? They really help you buy down that cost and improve the ROI of any of your equipment. And make sure you prioritize those investments. We want to make sure the ones are making the biggest impact. Whether that's with budget numbers, the low-hanging fruit, the lighting, or whether it's the big things, the chillers, the long-term things. Make sure you prioritize those investments well. And lastly, remember that managing those peaks that I kind of just showed you, they can be really key to lowering costs and improving efficiency across the board.
Thank you, Drew.
Thank
Next
you.
up, we have Minnesota Energy Resources. We have some time set aside at the end to ask questions from both of our utility partners or anyone else on here today. Feel free to put them in the chat too, and we can answer them once we get to that portion as well.
So hi, I am Jennifer Kimmen, and I am with Minnesota Energy Resources. I've been with Merck for just over 2 years, but in the energy industry for just shy of 20 years. My focus is on the small to medium commercial businesses from Rochester north through the Twin Cities. And my best advice going forward as you move into benchmarking, or if you've already started, is that energy programs really are ever changing, and there is no silly questions. Whether it's equipment or understanding your usage, feel free to reach out to myself or Paul Sullivan, anybody at the utility. So next I have, we're looking at a map of Minnesota Energy Resources. We like to joke that if you threw a paintball at the state and it splattered, that's kind of our territory, but you see Rochester there. It is fair to say that Rochester has been the fastest growing city in our territory. We began serving Rochester in 1932, and we are now in 179 communities and 52 counties across Minnesota. The tremendous growth has been really exciting to see in Rochester. So while we have all had a hand in this development, it really is rewarding to watch Rochester transform. Every time I turn down a new road, there's 6 new buildings being either renovated or new buildings in different areas. You can go to the next. Okay. Energy Star certification is really the capstone to energy efficiency improvements that you're making. When you benchmark your energy in Portfolio Manager and your score is 75 or higher, you are eligible to be certified. A score of 75 means your building performs better than at least 75% of the buildings nationwide. If your building is already efficient, you can jump straight into Energy Star certification without making any changes or upgrades. You would apply directly through EPA. Minnesota Energy has a nice rebate of $750, which covers about 50% of the typical certification fees. And then our benchmarking rebate bonus was specifically designed to help support our customers and communities like Rochester. Once you benchmark your building, you're eligible for an additional 25% rebate on top of our already generous commercial rebates. And that information you're going to find online, and I'll have a link at the end here. You do not need the certification to qualify for your benchmarking bonus, but we do encourage you to do both. And then, as Drew mentioned, it's really important to take advantage of those rebates to get those costs down. We have several prescriptive rebates that we continue to offer, as well as some new 2021 offers that are italicized. These type of rebates are cash back, they're flat rates. Let's say you're putting in high efficiency food service equipment, like maybe a combi oven, that's $1,000 flat rate. A fryer in your kitchen or cafeteria would be $700, and so forth. A custom rebate is just a tailored project that does not fall into prescriptive equipment, but still is saving natural gas. We would review the project to make sure it's cost effective, and the payback is at least 1 year, and the rebate is $10 per decatherm saved. To put that in perspective, we just recently approved a custom project for just over $5,000 at a school. They installed demand control ventilation, or called DCV, and that will allow that school to save 513 decatherms in heating costs. A DCV works well in buildings that are not always occupied, so a church, a school, a convention center, think large attendance, and then nobody is there. Then we have a few unique energy programs there towards the bottom to help work towards those savings. We sponsor a building operating certification, or BOC, training program, and that's run by MIA, Midwest Energy Efficiency Alliance. That training is for commercial building facility managers and the staff. Training covers building operation and maintenance and offers an in-depth look at the best ways to manage a facility and latest tips and technologies. There is a class in October 2021 that folks are starting to sign up for. It is virtual right now. The class is $1,200, but Merck offers a rebate, or scholarship we call it, of $650. And this is great that you can also reach out to RPU. They offer additional rebates on a tiered level as you participate in that BOC training program, or folks that might work for you that you'd like them to be part of that. It's also worth mentioning that our multifamily program that you see on this list used to only allow centrally metered buildings, but new for 2021, we invite individually metered buildings to take part in this program as well. There is a bonus incentive for site evaluation as well as low-income housing. So if you have questions on this last slide here will be my information. And then if you want to learn more about our programs, hop on to cashrebatesnow.com. That's the best place to find more information. But again, feel free to call me or email anytime. And I think that's it for me.
Thank you, Jen. With that, we will hand it over to Mayor Norton for a few closing remarks before we open it up for any discussion and questions.
Well, hello there. It's my pleasure to join this group. I'm very enthusiastic about the benchmarking program and very excited that we're starting our third year and have over 100 participants. It's really important, and I'm going to ask those of you participating and listening in today to help share the word, because we cannot lower our energy costs, lower our greenhouse gas, meet the energy and climate goals that we have as a city without your help. And we know that you can't help us if you don't know what your energy use is, and you don't even know maybe that you need, and that there are things you can do to lower it. And so this is a very simple voluntary program that's free of charge, but that has big payback for you and can lower your costs and lower your energy use. So just happy that you're here. Want to share my enthusiasm and ask your help in spreading the word. So that's why I'm here today, and have enjoyed listening to the presentations. Really excited to hear what Mayo Clinic has been doing. Amanda, you're doing amazing work over there and leading in the community. And I just hope others will join us with this great program so that they can all have the same kind of results that you did. So thanks.
Thank you, Mayor Norton. We have just one last slide here, I think, to show some upcoming opportunities, and then we'll open it up for questions and discussion that anyone might have. So next steps would be to sign up one or more buildings to participate. If you haven't done that already, feel free to reach out to us and we can get that process going for you. If you're still not sure, let us know if you're interested. And again, we can follow up and have a further conversation about this, answer any questions. Feel free to spread the news and share this within your networks. Like I said, this is a voluntary program and we are trying to grow it each year. And as you can see, there's a lot of benefits to participants for joining and being a part of this program. Again, you can learn more at our City of Rochester Building Benchmarking website. There's plenty of resources there, as well as past recordings of trainings. And coming up next month as a part of our EarthFest activities will be an energy efficiency for your business event on April 29th at 7 p.m. Both of our utility partners will be a part of that as well, and we'll be taking a much deeper dive into those incentives and rebate opportunities that are available, as well as some specific examples of projects businesses can implement for energy efficiency. Thank you, everyone, and we'll just open it up for questions.
So I'm going to have one, Lauren.
Sure.
Can you explain, do you have to have a large business? Do you have to have multiple buildings? Can it be a small business that participates? Can you just
Yeah.
kind of
So
touch on that?
benchmarking is really, size doesn't matter. You can have one building, you can have multiple buildings. You can set it up in the Energy Star Portfolio Manager to link multiple buildings if you do have more than one, or our campus of sorts. Traditionally, benchmarking has focused on larger commercial buildings, but we really are trying to reach all sizes of businesses, nonprofits, and organizations in our community, because everyone can realize energy savings from these opportunities. So particularly nonprofits, smaller local businesses, it really affects your bottom line just implementing some of these easy projects, not to mention the rebates and incentives that are available too. So any size, any type of business or organization, like I said, we're happy to answer questions or work with folks to figure out if benchmarking makes sense. I do have a question in the chat. What can people expect to get out of the benchmarking program, and why is it such an important opportunity? So really it kind of goes back to, you can't manage what you don't measure. So just by benchmarking, you can keep track of your building's energy use month to month and year over years. So you're able to identify, one, compared to your peers and buildings of the same size and characteristics, if your building is using the same type of energy or if you are way off the charts for some reason. You're able to compare that, and then you're able to see if there are certain days of the week or times of the day, or maybe even times of the year, that your energy seems to be off, or you're using way more than you typically should be for that time. So it just helps you keep track of your energy use and water over the year, so that you can manage that better. But really it's such an important opportunity for our community. One, not only the more buildings that benchmark, the more we have for our peers to compare to one another, but two, for our community, because we've adopted these kind of lofty climate goals, it helps us reach those goals. So financially, it's good for you to manage your energy efficiency and help reduce some of those utility costs. It helps the city in return then with lowering our energy usage and reducing our greenhouse gas emissions.
Hello, I'm Brian. Brian Milner with ISG. I'm an architect here in town, and I have two different questions. You mentioned that Cascade Meadows was one of the facilities that has enrolled or is participating in your benchmarking program, and I'm curious, do you have a way of categorizing or classifying buildings, so that, obviously that was designed and built to be very energy efficient, and if somebody didn't know that and they were to compare their older, facility that wasn't designed that way, is there a way to see the varying degrees of the buildings that are in this program?
Yep, so it all goes into your Energy Star Portfolio Manager that you build. So that goes through what type of building it is, the use, the year it was built is really important for that, the square footage, and then there are other characteristics that you can implement, like if it has renewable energy or something like that. So it can all be factored into creating that profile. And then as participants share their data with us year to year, we can then compare that and again, be your resource to help you identify the buildings that match up to you to kind of compare that information and then kind of what makes sense in reviewing that.
Yep. And then a second follow-up question. So, benchmarking with an existing facility, I get it. I understand it. I think it's great. I'll encourage, my clients to take a look at the program and to participate. But what about new construction, new design, new buildings that are coming online? And maybe that's a separate topic, separate presentation, but are there the same sort of opportunities and advice in terms of, enrolling a building, even if it's, being designed right now and about to get built, it'll open 2 years from now? Are you looking for the new buildings to enroll in this program as well?
Yes, actually, if new buildings through our TIF policy receive funding from that, they are required to participate in our benchmarking program because again, it just helps build out that baseline for our community of across the board, what does energy usage look like? Again, for newer buildings, it's still an opportunity for you to compare against other buildings of the same size and use to see what your energy usage is as well. So definitely still for new buildings as well. It helps us build out that data set even further. And again, if maybe something happens and there is something along the lines that your energy seems off, this can help identify that right away to fix those problems.
Right. Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And can I put a plug in for that? Brian, I really appreciate that comment. And as a city, we're in such a development phase. It is going to be so important that the new buildings coming in, raise the bar and really build energy efficient buildings. We're just really in that tough spot, right? Really energy efficient buildings in the future. So, really appreciate your partnership in working toward that, whether you're getting TIF or not. We would love everybody to have that conservation, positive attitude about energy efficiency. So thank you for that question.
All right, if there aren't any other questions, we'll go ahead and wrap this up then. Like I said, we'll send out an email with all of the contact information and resources we shared today. And I will hang out here for a few more minutes if anyone would like to stay on for any additional questions. But we thank you for joining and we look forward to working with you in this program.